The Sharks slipped to their first defeat in 3 NatWest T20 Blast games as they went down to one of the competition's favourites, Hampshire, by 18 runs at the Brighton and Hove Jobs.com county ground. Jimmy Adams won the toss and decided to have a bat on what looked like a belter of a pitch, one which the ludicrously informed James Vince was soon enjoying playing his shots on. He's already scored 442 runs in boundaries alone in the championship this year, and so the way he started was no real surprise. Sussex struck first in the 4th over, Adams getting under this shot off Chris Liddle to send the ball high into the sky and then into the hands of Rory Hamilton-Brown to end the opening partnership on 34 in the 4th over. Vince was not to be put off by that, and he took on Michael Yardy when he was brought on to deliver the 5th over of the match. It was an over which went for 15 runs as Vince struck the first 6 of the night to help the score along to 65 for 1 at the end of the 6 overs of power play. A second maximum off Yardy brought Vince to yet another half-century this summer. He'd needed only 26 balls for this one, from which he'd found the boundary on 8 occasions and cleared it twice. He was looking to take the game away from the Sharks very early on. However, he then swung at a ball from Stefan Pilot and was very well held off screen by Matt Machin. Vince had to go for a 31-ball 52, leaving with his side on 83 for 2 at the end of the 9th over. Hampshire have a side filled with big hitters, including Adam Wheater, who struck Pilot for a maximum to bring up the visitors' 100 at the end of over number 11. Yardy was, for once, fairly expensive, his 3 overs costing 30 runs, with Wheater helping himself to 34 off 25 deliveries. Yardy got him for his only wicket, Wheater driving with power to Ed Joyce to go with Hampshire now on 114 for 3, with 7 overs of their innings remaining. The start they'd been given by Vince and Wheater now allowed the rest to have a real go. Sean Irvine doesn't need a second invitation to play his shots, and he twice cleared the rope, once off Pilot and then again off Liddle, this second maximum bringing up the 150 in the 18th over. When Irvine tried to go over the top again, he toe-ended his shot off Yasser Arafat to be caught at long off by Hamilton-Brown, with a total now on 162 for 4 with 9 deliveries left. Irvine was out for 38, made off 23 balls. Matt Coles then sliced Yasser Arafat out to Luke Wright as the bowler ended with the excellent figures of 2 for 27 from his 4 overs. With 1 over to go, Hampshire had a score of 163 for 5 on the board. They added another 14 runs off the final over, bowled by Liddle. Will Smith with a bit of cheek at the end. A final score of 177 for 5 left the Sharks a scoring rate of just under 9 runs per over to maintain their 100% winning start to this season's campaign. Only 1 run came off the first over of the reply, and then Machin drove Chris Wood straight to T20 debutant Brad Taylor at mid-on with a score on 7 for 1 after 2 overs. But Joyce and Wright then kept the scoreboard ticking over with some good shots, which was keeping their team up with the rate in what was an encouraging start for the Sharks. Chasing such a score meant that keeping some wickets in hand for a hit later on in the innings was important. Wright hammered the first 6 of the Sussex innings in the 4th over, one which went for 17 runs as these two took the score on to 39. But Wright then sliced another attempted hit over long off. He was caught by Adams to go for 23, which had been made off just 12 deliveries. Hampshire knew the importance of Wright's wicket. Hamilton-Brown then took on the spin of Danny Briggs and Taylor. The score read 48 for 2 at the end of the power play, and that meant that 4 such as these were important too if the Sharks were going to cause their opponents some problems later on. Taylor bowled just the 1 over in the match. It went for 16 runs, with Hamilton-Brown also pulling in for a maximum. Sussex were moving themselves into a good position to win this game. Joyce was able to find the boundary just when his side needed one. At the halfway stage of the reply, the Sharks had a score of 87 for 2 on the board, and with 8 wickets still in hand, they would have fancied chasing down the remaining 91 runs they needed to make it 3 wins out of 3 in this competition this year. 81 were wanted off 9 overs, but then the game turned when Hamilton Brown, having made 34 off only 22 balls, was bowled by Will Smith, a man who didn't get too many opportunities in T20 cricket whilst at Durham. Things began to slow down just a bit after Hamilton Brown was out. Joyce and new man Ben Brown found the boundary on occasions, but the run rate required was building as the Sharks were left with 49 to get off the last 5 overs, still a very gettable target at this stage. But the loss of Brown came at just the wrong time for the Sharks. He'd made a sprightly 19, but then he had a swing and a miss at this ball from Smith to go with his side on 129 for 4 at the start of the 16th over. No boundaries came off the next 12 deliveries before Joyce found the rope off Kyle Abbott to reach his fine 50 off 41 deliveries, that being his 5th 4. It then came down to the last 2 overs, from which the Sharks required 29 runs. Joyce needed to see the game out, but to the second ball of the penultimate over, the Irishman was bowled by Wood for 56, and with him went his side's chances. Only 9 runs came off the remaining 10 deliveries, with the last over from Abbott going for just 5. That meant that the Sharks fell 18 runs short on 159 for 5, sending them to their first defeat from 3, while giving Hampshire their first victory at their second attempt. Sussex missed next week's round of T20 matches, but returned to action in this competition against Gloucestershire at Hove on June the 6th.